very good morning to you, good afternoon, good evening to you, our esteemed viewers. This is News Daily Digest. Yes, Daily Digest, where we bring you different stories across the various newspaper headlines in Nigeria. And don't forget that this is still esteemed Radio Vision. We are located at Obokun Avenue in Ilesha, Osun State, Nigeria. On Daily Digest this morning, I am Chidima Abel, and I have with me
Oluwatoyosi Solanke.
Oluwatoyosi Solanke. How are you doing this morning?
I'm fine, and you?
Very good as well. So, like we said earlier, this is where we bring you different stories across the different headlines, newspaper headlines in Nigeria. This morning, we'll be starting with Vanguard. On Vanguard this morning, we have federal government set to review tariff policies to boost local production. Federal government said to review tariff policies to boost local production. The federal government has commenced strategic review of tariff policies to encourage local production, protect domestic industries, and ease the cost of doing businesses. This followed a high-level meeting with the Tariffs Review Board and the Minister of State for Finance, Dr. Doris Uzoka Anite, where existing tariff regimes were weighed against the backdrop of rising production costs and foreign exchange pressures.
Elder stabs brother to death in Delta. The Delta State Police Command on Sunday said it has arrested a elder who allegedly stabbed his brother to death in Okuashi Uku community, Aniocha South local government area of Delta State. Police Public Relations Officer Mr. Bright Edafe disclosed in a statement that the deceased was stabbed while asleep. He added that the assailant is a suspected drug addict.
Oh. Okay, now moving ahead on the nation now, we have left that of Vanguard. Now we are moving to the Nation news headlines this morning. We have Defense Minister. Tinubu prioritizes welfare, equipment of armed forces. This is coming from Defense Minister, the president of Christopher Musa, General Christopher Musa retired. He says Tinubu prioritizes welfare, equipment of armed forces. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is committed to ensuring that the armed forces and other security agencies are adequately equipped, properly motivated, and well cared for to enable them to discharge their constitutional responsibilities effectively and professionally. This is coming directly from the Defense Minister in the person of General Christopher Musa yesterday. He spoke at an interdenominational church service for the Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day in 2026 in Abuja.
Tinubu in Abu Dhabi for Sustainability Summit. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has arrived in Abu Dhabi, the capital of the United Arab Emirates, to participate in the 2026 edition of the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week, a global forum dedicated to advancing sustainable development. The president arrived in UAE capital last night at about 11:30 p.m. local time and was received on arrival by the Minister of State in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the person of Sheikh Shagbut Nayan Al Nayan. President Tinubu is attending the summit at the invitation of Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, President of the United Arab Emirates.
All right, now moving ahead on The Guardian. The Guardian this morning. Protests erupt in Edo over killing as residents sack livestock traders. Protests erupt in Edo State over killing as residents sack livestock traders. Angry residents at Ekpoma in a West Local Council of Edo State on Saturday disrupted activities at the livestock markets in the university community, driving away traders and slaughtering goats in protest over the killing of a youth by suspected kidnappers. The protest, which followed the discovery of the youth's body in a nearby bush on Friday night, led to the suspension of commercial activities in the area. Campaign billboards for the 2027 general elections were also pulled down by protesters. Videos that circulated on social media yesterday showed youths storming the livestock markets, chasing away traders and killing goats belonging to them. Cars were also seen wandering onto a major road as traders fled for their lives, with some residents reportedly beating the animals while slaughtered goats were dragged away. A resident who spoke on a condition of anonymity said the protest was triggered by growing anger over insecurity in Ekpoma, particularly the rising cases of kidnapping.
Tinubu can sack me if he desires. Wiki. Amid increasing calls for the sack of the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, ESM Wike, the minister has shut down demands for his sack. Staunch critics of the minister, while wading into the hostility between Wike and his successor as governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara have advised President Bola Tinubu to remove Wike from office to resolve the political crisis in the state. Some of his critics include a coalition of leaders within the All Progressive Congress operating under the APC Leaders Forum and the Tinubu-Shettima Solidarity Movement. The group issued an open letter calling for the immediate removal of Nyesom Wike as Minister of the Federal Capital Territory.
All right, now still on The Guardian this morning, why Buhari appointed me as minister in 2015. This is coming from Lai Mohammed. Why Buhari appointed me as minister in 2015. Lai Mohammed, a former minister of information and culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, has said his appointment by former President Muhammadu Buhari in 2015 was the result of years of trust, shared convictions, loyalty, and service rather than a single moment. Mohammed, who served as information minister for almost 8 years during Buhari's administration, disclosed this in his book, Headlines and Soundbites, Media Moments That Defined an Administration. The book, launched in Abuja on December 17, 2025, to coincide with what would have been Buhari's 83rd birthday, chronicles his experiences as minister under the late president. Now, recalling the period after Buhari's inauguration on May 29, 2015, Mohammed Lai said it took a while for the former president to name his cabinet. Lai Mohammed said, however, because of the trust and confidence Buhari placed on him, Mohammed was personally appointed to the Ahmed Joda-led Transition Committee in April 2015, after the other members had already been named.
DSS arrests personnel for alleged abduction, defilement of 16-year-old girl. The Department of State Services, DSS, has arrested one of its personnel, Ifeanyi Onyenwenyi, over allegations of abducting and defying a 16-year-old girl in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The DSS also alleged that the suspect unlawfully converted the victim to Christianity. The Director of Public Relations and Strategic Communications of the DSS, Favor Dozier, confirmed the arrest in a statement issued in Maiduguri, Borno State. Our attention has been drawn to reports alleging the involvement of a staff member of the DSS, one Ifeanyi Festus, in a case of abduction, sexual abuse of a minor, and abuse of office among under officers, Dozier said. According to her, investigations are ongoing into allegations of the forceful conversion and marriage of the victim. It is hereby confirmed that an active staff member, Ifeanyi Onyenwenyi, who is suspected to have forcefully converted and married the victim, has been arrested and is currently under investigation, the statement said.
Still on The Guardian, NDLEA arrests 80-year-old ex-convict, seizes drugs concealed in mannequins. NDLEA arrests 80-year-old ex-convict, seizes drugs concealed in mannequins. Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, have arrested an 80-year-old man, Jeremiah Isaiah Nkanta, for allegedly returning to illicit drug trafficking barely 3 years after he was convicted and jailed for a similar offense. Nkanta was first arrested by the agency on December 14, 2022, and was subsequently prosecuted and sentenced to 2 years imprisonment by a federal high court in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. NDLEA officials said he allegedly resumed drug trafficking after completing his sentence. Following credible intelligence, NDLEA operatives on Saturday, January 10, 2025, tracked the octogenarian, to his residence in Mamta Abak village, Abak local council of Akwa Ibom State, where he was arrested with 5.7 kilograms of skunk, a strain of cannabis. In another operation in Akwa Ibom State, NDLEA operatives on patrol along the Oron-Ebaka Road in Oron Local Council on Friday, January 9, intercepted a 37-year-old businessman, Ani Onyebuchi Romance. He was arrested while traveling with a full-body mannequins reportedly meant for his clothing businesses in Cameroon. A search for the mannequins revealed pills of tramadol concealed inside them, weighing 5.3 kilograms. The suspect claimed he resides in Cameroon and was returning there after the Christmas and New Year holidays.
Fire outbreak raises foam factory at Ogun, Guangdong Free Trade Zone. A fire outbreak yesterday gutted the foam producing section of the Ogun Guangdong Free Trade Zone in Igbesa, Ogun State, destroying valuables estimated to be worth millions of naira. The Guardian learnt that the fire was triggered by a gas explosion at a foam-producing company within the Free Trade Zone. A student of the Ogun State Institute of Technology, who identified himself as Kuwede Vicent, said smoke and flames were seen billowing from the facility, prompting people in the area to raise an alarm. It started at about 8 a.m. We first saw smoke and then fire coming from the company, Vicent said. The company is very close to my hostel, but I do not think any hostels were affected. We just grabbed our bags because we did not know what could happen next. He commended the prompt response of the fire service, which he said helped to contain the blaze. Reacting to the incident, the president of Ogitech Student Union, Ilo Fadulu Temitokpe, in a statement signed by the secretary, Moses Josephine, and the public relations officer, Segbetin Sunday, urged students to remain calm and observe safety precautions. The statement said the union had been informed of the fire outbreak at the Free Trade Zone, which is close to some students' hostels around Obanla axis, and advised students to stay indoors where safe, avoid the affected areas, keep doors and windows closed in the presence of smoke, and switch off electrical appliances and gas sources as a precaution. The cause of the incident had yet to be determined at the time of filing those reports.
And now on this day newspaper headlines, we have Chimamanda served legal notice over son's death. Sanwo-Olu orders probe. Chimamanda serves legal notice over son's death. Sanwo-Olu orders probe. Renowned Nigerian author Chimamanda Adichie has demanded accountability from Uracare, a private hospital in Lagos, accusing it of medical negligence and professional impropriety. This followed the death of a 21-month-old son, Nkano Nnamdi. After a series of medical procedures, Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, also ordered a probe into the alleged medical negligence that reportedly led to the death of Master Nkano. The probe followed public concern caused by the tragedy. In a detailed legal notice dated January 10, 2026, solicitors acting for Adichie and her partner, Dr. Ivara Esege, alleged that the hospital, its anesthesiologist, and other attending medical personnel breached the duty of care owed to their son, Master Nkano Adichie Esege, who died in the early hours of January 7, 2026. Now, according to the notice, the child, born on March 25, 2024, was referred to the hospital on January 6, 2026 from Atlantis Pediatric Hospital for diagnostic and preparatory procedures ahead of an imminent medical evacuation due to the United States, where a specialist medical team was reportedly on standby. The procedures included an echocardiogram, a brain MRI, a peripherally inserted central catheter, and a lumbar puncture. Intravenous sedation was said to have been administered using propofol. However, the notice alleged that during transportation to the cardiac catheterization laboratory after the MRI, the child developed sudden and severe complications. Despite being under, sedation, he was reportedly transferred between clinical areas under conditions that raised serious and substantive concerns about compliance with patient safety protocols.
Lack of unity may hamper creation of Ijebu State, Daniel warns. A former governor of Ogun State and senator representing Ogun East, Otumba Gbenga Daniel, yesterday warned that creation of the much-desired Ijebu State may not be realistic unless there is unity of purpose among the people of the 9 local governments that constituted the old Ijebu province. Daniel gave the warning at Ikoto, Okiowa during the Batogi movement of Odo Ogbolu local government area of the state. The tour, which drew stakeholders from entire wards that constituted the local government, was the 7th in the series of the assessment tour. The senator, who highlighted some of the achievements of his administrations as the governor of Ogun State between 2003 and 2011, said what can bring further development to Old Ijebu province is the transition of the province to a full-fledged state. As a sponsor of the bill for the establishment of the proposed state, Daniel said he had done all behind the scenes jobs to ensure that the creation of the new state becomes a reality. He said, in the current circumstances facing Ijebu land, the last real hope for accelerated and sustainable development lies in the prospect of creating a new state from the old Ijebu province. As your senator, we have undertaken significant work behind the scenes on this and other matters. However, I have deliberately chosen not to make much noise until we have successfully crossed all the necessary orders. The parameters and requirements for state creation are enormous and rigorous. Overcoming them demands nothing less than unity of purpose among the people. The old Ijebu province, which forms the basis of this aspiration, consists of 9 local government councils. Anything short of this full complement cannot guarantee a successful process.
All right, now to wrap it up on the Punch now, price war. Retailers drop petrol below Dangote's 739 naira per litre. This is what we'll be using to wrap it up this morning on Daily Digest. From the Punch, price war. Retailers drop petrol below Dangote's 739 naira per litre. The price war in the petroleum sector has continued to deepen as some retail outlets have dropped the prices of premium motor spirit, also known as petrol, below the 739 naira per litre recommended by the Dangote Petroleum Refinery. Now, the Point report that says the Dangote Refinery slashed petrol pump prices from about 900 naira to 739 naira in December. Many importers and depot owners have lamented mounting losses. To remain competitive, many operators were forced to sell petrol at rates below their cost. Now, during a survey over the weekend, it was observed that some filling stations now sell PMS, premium motor spirits, cheaper than MRS oil, the main partner endorsed by the Dangote Refinery to champion the price reduction to 739 naira per litre. Thank you, viewers. This is where we'll be wrapping up the show, but don't forget to leave a comment for us in the comment section. You could comment on any of the headlines that we have, discussed so far on the Daily Digest. We will come your way again tomorrow, same time, sensations. Don't leave that die. Don't go anywhere. Stay loyal to Esteem Radio Vision. And don't forget that we are located at Obokun Avenue. At this point, I want to say a very big thank you to you for choosing Esteem Radio Vision. I also want to say a big thank you to our CEO in the person of Dickie Michael Adeboye Ashaolu, the founder of Eniakmonle Foundation and also Esteem Radio Vision. And to our producer here, in the person of Ayomikun, thank you so much. To my colleague, Oluwatoyosi,
Yes,
thank you.
Chidima, you're welcome.
Thank you so much. And don't go anywhere because as we are stepping aside, we'll be bringing you more interesting moments. I still remain Chidima Abel. Bye for now.